Cheyenne, don't let me forget. The next time we come here, I have to present an award to the chef in this restaurant and shake his hand in person. That was by far the best thing I've ever eaten. Sasha walked next to Cheyenne and raved about the cooking skills in the small beach restaurant. The girl had to laugh and then nodded. Yes, she's right. The cook here is really talented in his calling. In a few minutes, night would fall completely over the country and it would once again become enormously dark. Only about 10 chroma stars could be seen in the sky, which glowed only faintly. Cheyenne and her companions had just come out of the restaurant, strengthened, and headed for the small stone wall. Glaczio had not yet told anyone about his ingenious plan, but now he seemed to want to share his plan with the others. The two friends sat down on the wall and Adokas sighed and lay down on the floor next to his owner. The healer first looked in all directions to make sure that no one was around. Then he looked at the entrance to the sand passage. This was a little further behind the restaurant, at the end of the beach, and you could see it from the stone wall. Cheyenne followed Glacio's gaze and noticed that 5 knights were standing guard there. How are we supposed to get past them unnoticed? These guardians look pretty strong. Moreover, if we start a fight, one of them will surely sound alarm, and in no time at all the whole knighthood would know that we actually want to go to HALONIA and are already here. It's going to be really hard to get past them. The girl was still thinking, but Glaczio seemed to have developed a solution long before. He closed his eyes and smiled a little. Sasha became impatient and asked him to let her in on his plan. Oh, you weirdo, surely already have a plan that has been thought through 1,000 times and is guaranteed to work and not fail, as I know you. At least you are sometimes quite useful. But don't put us on the edge of your seat and put your cards on the table. And stop being so boastful all the time. You can't stand it. The healer rolled his eyes in annoyance and turned backwards over his shoulder until he saw his former friend. He sighed and folded his arms. Hey, keep it easy, baby. I already had a plan earlier, but since no one paid attention to me when we went to the restaurant, I thought you weren't interested and kept my idea to myself. But you won't be able to think of anything sensible anyway, so dear Glaczio will help his 2 pretty bunnies and free them from their bleak situation. This genius healer here has developed the plan of the century, and yes, it will work perfectly. Unfortunately, I need your help, Sasha Mouse. I hope that's not too much to ask, sweetie. Cheyenne looked from Glaczio to Sasha and noticed her friend turn all red in the face. That he always has to overdo it with her. Now he has just got a chance. Now he's behaving like this again. I guess that's always been the case with the two of them. He only teases her, but she lets it get to her far too much. Oh, I can help myself. Even if I'm a little ashamed of it, I sometimes find the two of them really funny. The girl was fully behind Sasha, but she couldn't help but smile at that moment. The healer noticed this and winked at Cheyenne. However, she turned away from him and looked down at the floor. He had obviously expected this and did not let himself be thrown off his game. He became more serious and looked thoughtfully at the sand passage. Then he told them about his plan. All right, girls. You may not like it as much as I do, but it is tactically the smartest option. Unfortunately, it's already too late to buy any more things because the shops are already closed, but we can take that into account now. After all, it's only a matter of time before the knights find out our exact location, especially if Atropax is involved in these plans. With 90% probability, I can guarantee that tomorrow morning the village will already be surrounded here, because if you think logically, it is easy to find out where we want to go. If we are surrounded then by 30 knights, we have no chance. Consequently, it would be a considerable advantage if we were to set off tonight. Basically, we have no other choice. The night will protect us so that the guards will not easily spot us during the passage, and we will be able to leave the continent unnoticed. Then they'll search everything here tomorrow in vain and will gain time. I am sure that Atropax has not only set the normal knights on us, but has also looked for people who pursue us and pass on our positions to him. So it won't be long before the Knights of Light know that we are in HALONIA and let us be searched for there, Atropax continent. Anyway, back to the plan. Sasha Mouse, I hope you haven't forgotten how to shapeshift. You distract the knights down there after complete darkness in the form of a sea serpent, and my little angel, fairy wolf Arukas, and my humble self sneak past behind the distracted guards onto the passage. When we are out of sight, you disappear into the sea and come to us inconspicuously. Then we try to cross the sun passage unharmed. We have to take into account that it's pitch dark, that there are most likely Umbraro demons there, that the waves can tear the ground out from under our feet at any time, especially at this time in wind strength, and that it's an insanely long way. I'd suggest we use our weapons after we're out of sight of the knights to see at least a little bit, which you can't really count on me this time. Without my sword, I'd be lost at night, because I'm blind as a mole when it's dark. Angel, in Media Silver you told me that you have no problems with your vision at night. So you should be able to see almost as well as you can during the day, shouldn't you? This means that we will rely on you later. You have to tell us if you see anything in the distance that we can't perceive, because Sasha Mouse and I can only see things that are in the vicinity of our weapon lighting. Of course we would hear when something comes our way. We have developed good instincts, but we still confide in you. You also have to learn to deal with responsibility anyway, and success would benefit your ego. If everything goes according to plan, taking into account all possible problems that may arise, we should arrive in northern Halonia tomorrow morning. If everyone agrees with my outstanding ingenious idea, I suggest that we take action immediately. Cheyenne didn't quite like Glacio's plan, but it was really the most sensible thing they could do at the moment. You really have to give him one thing. Not even Sasha can say anything against it. He's really a genius. If I really am the chosen one, shouldn't I be as intelligent? Why am I still deluding myself that this whole thing is just a misunderstanding? Everyone is so convinced. Besides, Glaczio should actually know. And what was that? Sasha can change her shape? Wow! Cheyenne's friend had been speechless, which was really an extremely exceptional situation for her. She nodded without saying a single word. Apparently this plan was the best solution to the situation for her as well, and the young woman acknowledged Glacio's genius without envy. But then she quickly lowered her head. Something about the healer's suggestion apparently didn't please her so much after all. Crumpled, she turned to her childhood friend. You're asking me to do something you know I hate, and what you're to blame for. My whole life has changed because of it, and now you just want me to deal with it again? You're really a first-class bastard. Cheyenne sensed that Sasha was angry and sad at the same time, and she wondered why. If the young woman could change her shape, that was good. Not everyone would be able to do this, but there was certainly a good reason why she did not appreciate her gift. Glaczio looked down at his old acquaintance with inner calm. He seems to know exactly how Sasha felt, but still tried to convince her of the task assigned to her. Hey, baby, I'm really sorry to remind you of those memories, but just think of it as a gift that we can make use of and that helps us on our way. You can't change it anymore, so just take advantage of it. You don't have to accept or like it, just take advantage of it, right? Oh, and by the way, how many times should I tell you that it wasn't my fault? At least do it for the chosen one. Sasha sighed and looked at Cheyenne. She was puzzled. She actually had no idea what her two companions were talking about. It was definitely about the gift of shape-shifting, but she didn't understand more context. Why could her friend do such a thing at all? Sasha noticed that the girl couldn't follow and explained to her. You probably don't really understand anything right now, huh? So, first of all, Glaczio, you are a miserable liar and I don't believe a word you say. Your research data was to blame. And now to you, Cheyenne. You may have just noticed that I can change my shape. When I was younger and still being held in a laboratory in the capital, countless experiments were carried out on me. The laboratory was right next to the king's castle, but it was closed a few months before Glacio's disappearance. But they still kept me there afterwards, so that they would have leverage for the idiot here. He was forbidden to visit me, but he came anyway, when he happened to have time. Pfft, almost never. His wife and profession were more important to him than I was. But if he hadn't stopped by me sometimes, I'm sure I'd have been completely desperate. What I actually wanted to tell was the thing about shapeshifting. So it was an experiment in luminium conversion, but it failed with the effect that I completely lost control of my body for several months and was in enormous pain. My luminium structure was constantly changing into all kinds of animal shapes. I think I was 15 when all this happened, and then Glaczio was still with me every day. He helped me a lot during this time, and at some point I got my condition under control and learned to control it. And the pain also stopped. It may be that it's an advantageous thing, but the memories of it are horrible, and I feel like a monster because of that. This is so abnormal and disgusting. I actually never wanted you to know, but the icicle couldn't keep his mouth shut again. But the worst thing is that his idea is really good, and I don't see any other way to get past the guards. Cheyenne felt sorry for her friend. Apparently it was not only Glaczio who had had a tremendously difficult life. The girl couldn't watch Sasha beat herself up like that and put her hand on her shoulder. The young woman raised her head and looked at Cheyenne, tears slowly gathering in her mint-green eyes. Glaczio and Sasha have been through so much in their lives. If they just tell it, it sounds bad enough, but both have tears in their eyes when they talk about the past. I guess I can't imagine how cruel it must have been for the two of them back then, if they could still start crying after all this time. They are usually always so strong. Based on her visible feelings, you only really become aware of the extent. I hate the nights. Cheyenne was empathetic and told her friend her opinion on the whole thing. You are not abnormal or weird. You are special, Sasha. You have a gift that not everyone can master, and you have even the strength to control it. To be honest, I don't find this disgusting, but remarkable. You have freed yourself from a seemingly hopeless situation, and that shows how strong your soul is. You should be proud of yourself for being so unique. Make the best of it, and show the knights that they will never get you down. I understand that it's not very nice for you to be so different, but that doesn't change who you are. You are Sasha, my brave, strong friend, who is usually in a good mood and can always make me laugh. You are such a special person, and I am really very happy to have met you. I don't care what you look like. The most important thing is that you are yourself. I like you just the way you are, and that will never change in my whole life. Now Sasha could no longer hold back her tears and hugged the girl stormily. She seemed incredibly happy about her friend's words. Glaczio looked down at Cheyenne proudly and also a little moved, confirming to his former childhood friend what she had just said. The same applies to me. Thank you, little angel. You took the difficult and pathetic part off my hands. Sasha mouthed, if it comes from me, it probably won't help you in the slightest, but I also like you the way you are. You are one of the most attractive girls I've ever met. Beautiful, strong, and spirited. Sometimes you lack politeness and intelligence, but that's exactly what makes you special, and that's what I like about you. Sasha made no move to complain about Glaczio this time, even though Cheyenne would have found a good reason for her. But the young woman now seemed to have gained new courage and jumped up. She almost stepped on Adokar's tail. She wiped a few tears from her face with her hand and happily made an announcement. All right, if you two rely on me so much, I won't let you down. Thank you, Cheyenne. That was the nicest thing anyone ever said to me. I'm so infinitely grateful that I found you. You really are the best friend you could wish for. Thank you. My thanks are due only a little but still to you, Icicle. Glaczio. So then, bring on the knights. I'm ready for anything, and if they attack me, the shreds fly here, I can tell you. You are about to see the most beautiful sea serpent that you have ever seen and will ever see. Let's put this ingenious plan into action.